All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. Got a big request. Looking for your support. I think what needs to happen at this moment, I've been talking about this, I've been flirting with this idea, and I just keep saying this needs to happen. What I want to do is travel to Louisiana as soon as possible because, it is the United States of America. It is the United States of amnesia. Nobody remembers anything past Monday. A little bit of an exaggeration, but not too far from the truth. This past Monday, it's now Thursday in the week, this past Monday, we had the college championship, and it was won by LSU, Louisiana. And just recently, LSU's football program had a big tragedy that a lot of people probably shrugged off as coincidence. On the day they defeated Oklahoma and advanced to the college football championship, the coordinator's daughter-in-law died in a plane crash. And again, year after year, as sports championships come around, you see these suspicious deaths that so many people write off as coincidence. And if you've been following us for the past year, we've tracked a lot of deaths that have connected to the city of New Orleans that started around the time of the football season. And again, just to jog people's memory, August 16th, 2019, Nancy Parker, newscaster in New Orleans, died in a plane crash. And then 2 days later in the news, the 54th governor of Louisiana died. And I pointed out at that time, I said, look at this. In Gematria, Nancy Parker equals 54. Football's getting underway. It's the year of Super Bowl 54. New Orleans is one of the only cities in Gematria that sums to 54. Drew Brees, the star quarterback there, his name is 54. And what I had overlooked in the summer is how the college championship was in New Orleans on January 13th, 2020, a date with 54 numerology. And again, from Nancy Parker's death, who died in the plane crash, the news anchor in New Orleans, from her death, August 16th, to the championship game that LSU won in their own backyard in New Orleans, that was 150 days later, which matters because this was the 150th college football season. And, 2 days later, again, the 54th governor goes. There's actually been a lot of deaths this year that we've talked about in regards to New Orleans, and it deserves a thorough presentation. Now, some people could dismiss all this as coincidence, but if you show them, and again, you have one of the best things to show anybody right now to wake them up, whether they're in Louisiana or not, about this college football championship, because this is just undeniable. I mean, you have to be the most severe of coincidence theorists to dismiss this. But Billy Cannon, who played for LSU in 1959 and won the Heisman, he won the championship that year by beating Clemson in New Orleans, which is exactly what just happened this past Monday. The Heisman winner, Joe Burrow for LSU, beat Clemson in New Orleans. Deja vu. But the amazing and dark and disgusting part, again, is that Billy Cannon died May 20th, 2018, the exact same day that Joe Burrow became a part of LSU's football team. The exact same day. And then it was 86 weeks before the championship game, the blood sacrifice number. So anyway, I'm just envisioning going to LSU's campus. This is what I want to see happen. Go to LSU's campus. Might get booted off the campus. That's okay. You could just hang around the college town, talk to people all over the place. I'm thinking you go there with a big Joe Burrow t-shirt, wear a Billy Cannon t-shirt the next day. I have a mall, just like most of you have a mall. Go to the mall, get some clever phrase put on a shirt to draw people's attention. So just go around New Orleans and educate people. And just the place to start really with this is with the Billy Cannon example. And just, film a documentary. Again, the whole purpose of this would be to do some street campaigning, to film a documentary, and do it the right way. Let people know what you're there for. Are they willing to be recorded? Are they willing to be part of a YouTube video? Plenty of people will be willing. And I just checked out the weather in Louisiana too. It's like, yeah, perfect. Louisiana's like 75 degrees right now. Easy to get around in a t-shirt. We got snow on the ground here, but this needs to happen. And a college campus is the place. I mean, it's the nation's youth that need to know about what's going on. And, for some people it'll be depressing and heartbreaking, but it's got to be because this has to stop. Like, people have to stop filling up these stadiums for these rigged games with the ritual murders that are like clockwork every year. Because once somebody sees it, they're never going to unsee it. They're going to realize how it does go on every single year. Just like how last year we showed how Clemson was destined for the championship because of the death of C.J. Fuller. This past year in July, we showed that Clemson was destined for the championship because of the death of Tyshawn Dye. And there's just examples every year going back. I just forget because it's just so overwhelming that we've just tracked so many deaths for all these sports over the years. But I remember those two. You know, the last time Nick Saban won it, that perfect ritual syncing up with Bear Bryant, there was a article put out about his father's death 44 years before that season. And I have to go back and revisit it, but there was just so much more. You know, and that was so symbolic for Nick Saban to tie Bear Bryant 44 years from the death of his father. And again, we know what 44 represents, kill and execution. But again, I'm envisioning going to Louisiana, going to the LSU campus, talking to them, and then also going around New Orleans. I would love to go to the 5th Ward and wear a Weeby t-shirt and just go around and ask people, you know, did you notice Weeby died at age 42, just days before LSU Tigers won with 42 points in the college championship? And then show him how Weeby, not only did he die at age 42, but he died 42 days from his birthday. And then educate people about what that 42 number means, what it symbolizes, how many sick rituals are done around that number. Twice this year in the past NFL season, 2 Miami Dolphins, the Dolphins are hosting the Super Bowl, have been shamed, publicly shamed. One got shamed on the day leaving 42 days left in the year, and the other got shamed on a date with 42 numerology. And just last year, they did the big 42 ritual with Kareem Hunt. And then this year, they had him come back and say on TV, I can't wait to come back in 42 days. And think about Jackie Robinson's birthday 2 years ago. His birthday, January... I think it's January 31st, Jackie Robinson's birthday. I was about to confuse it with Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. But 2 years ago on Jackie Robinson's birthday, you had 3 celebrity deaths in the news that day, all people who were black. Again, Oscar Gamble, Rajuel Butler, and LaTanya Lemon, who's not exactly a celebrity, but the sister of Don Lemon, the news anchor for CNN. But all 3 of those names, what they have in common, Oscar Gamble, Rajuel Butler, LaTanya Lemon, they all summed to 42. And they all died on Jackie Robinson's birthday, number 42. Of course, Jackie equals 42. And the easiest ritual to see through out of those 3 was Oscar Gamble, because he was a former Major League Baseball player. He died at age 68. He was known for rocking the huge Afro 68. But anyway, he died 42 days after his own birthday, and he died on Jackie's birthday. And then that's the other thing. The word birthday equals 42. The number stamped all over black history, like the N-word, and you know the long list that's in the 18th chapter of my book. But anyway, I mean, there's just, and there's a million more examples to show about 42 and what's been done with black history in 42. And New Orleans is a great city to educate about that number in, because it's a predominantly black city. And everyone needs to know this. You know, everyone needs to know what's going on. You know, black Americans continually being shamed by that number and also murdered by that number, and it being put in mainstream headlines. You know, I'm trying to think real quick. Rodney King. I mean, just think about the Rodney King beating, man. If you look up Rodney King's birthday, April 2nd, 4-2, the other number stamped on black history, 59, Rodney King equals 59. And then, you know, the black stereotype that black people can't swim. He supposedly died from drowning. I believe he was age 47. You know, and there's just a million other examples. Another thing I would like to do down in New Orleans, hang out around the basketball stadium and talk to fans about Zion Williamson and how Zion Williamson, the sweepstakes for him was May 14th, 2019, which was the anniversary of the establishment of Zionist Israel, you know? And then educate about why it's interesting that Zion Williams became the top reward for the draft just before the 74th NBA season. Because, of course, Zion Williamson equals 74, and we know who runs the NBA, again in this code, just using the alphabetic order. English 74, Gematria 74, Occult 74, Masonic 74, Jewish 74. Zionist Israel 74th season, Zion Williamson on the day, you know. So there's just so many things that could be educated about. I'm thinking go down to New Orleans, stay a week there. I'm trying to raise $2,000 from the community. And unfortunately, the community is small right now because we just got deleted for the 20th time. Well, technically the 19th time. We're now on the 20th channel. And we're trying to rebuild here. But again, raise $2,000. $2,000, I believe, is enough to spend a week in New Orleans, cover the flight, cover the hotel, Ubers, food. I know how to live efficiently, so, you know, I think I can make $2,000 go the whole week and probably save some extra. And if I do save extra, maybe I'll put it towards some bus fare to Miami since I won't be too far away, and maybe go around the stadium for Super Bowl weekend and educate again about all the death rituals connected to this Super Bowl this year. So, again, the pavement needs to be pounded. I'm also on the very end of finishing my book, and what I would like to put in there is an experience like this at the end, because I think this trip could be very positive, and then to write a chapter about that at the end, you know, to inspire people how to get out and communicate and share the knowledge and the types of examples that are effective. And then, you know, if there's a little documentary to go with it too from the trip that I can reference in the book, like, hey, and check this out. Probably shouldn't upload it to YouTube, or it probably won't be there by the time the book's published based on how fast they take down the channels. But again, this is what has to happen. And realize what I'm talking about doing in Louisiana and New Orleans, I mean, this can be done in every state, in every city, because there's so many stories like this, as we know. I mean, this stuff's going on all the time. It's just that right now there's so much focus on Louisiana. It's right after this college football championship. There's such great examples to use. I mean, who can deny the Billy Cannon example? I mean, you got to suffer from the greatest form of cognitive dissonance to just shove that aside. And then you can also show them, I mean, the gematria is there too. It's like you don't even need the gematria to make the point, but then you show them Billy Cannon equals 59. LSU Tigers equals 59. Again, he won the Heisman in 59 and then beat Clemson in the championship in New Orleans, just like Joe Burrow did this year. 59, the 17th prime. This year, Joe Burrow wins by 17 points. So, anyhow, we'll keep it short and sweet. I will provide the link to donate. And real quick, just to show you expenses, I was just looking at what it would cost to fly from my town to the airport there in New Orleans. And then I see from the New Orleans airport to Baton Rouge, Louisiana is about a 70-mile drive. I imagine that an Uber, well, I don't know, maybe Uber's cheaper down in Louisiana than it is up in Seattle, but I'm guessing that's going to be in the neighborhood of 100 each way. But it looks like I can get the flight. It looks like I can get it possibly as cheap as $600. It looks like it also might be around $900. Maybe if I planned it out a little bit further, I can get it a little bit cheaper. But it looks like it's going to be in this neighborhood of somewhere between $600 and $900 for the flight round trip. The Uber to go from New Orleans to LSU, I'm guessing that's going to be around another $200. So in the neighborhood of $1,000 for that transportation. If I'm staying there a week, I'll try to go to the cheapest hotels to make it as cheap as possible. Because again, if I have excess money, maybe, like I said, I'll take the bus to Miami and go do some street educating around the Super Bowl. Maybe I can coordinate it that way. Or just, you know, maybe we finish and it's a success and there's a new story to go do, and maybe this works. Maybe I can get you guys to fund campaigns, small campaigns, a time at a time, and we'll go pound the pavement the next place the pavement needs to be pounded. Because I'd say at least 2 times a month there's a really, I mean, there's probably, again, at least 2 times a month there's a really great example of a place you could go and educate people about this knowledge and open up some eyes. And again, I've been doing this for 6 years, and I know that doing it online is not enough. Well, maybe it would have been if Google hadn't been so good about censoring me and shadow banning and deleting and everything that they've done. But gotta take a bigger step. I've been saying I want to pound the pavement for a long time, and I think this is a really good opportunity. And If you guys can all donate, chip in $5, it would take 400 people to chip in $5 to the campaign. We'd hit the mark. And I would really appreciate it. Be good for this movement. So anyway, we got the flight expense, again, from the airport to LSU. And I want to go to New Orleans, too, so there'd be some more travel expense to go back to New Orleans, because I see the airport's a little bit outside the city, just like how it is in most cities. But there'll be some Uber costs there, maybe a few $100s in Ubers. And I was just looking up transportation services. This is why Uber and Lyft's putting everything out of business. Like, this guy's charging $255 to go from the airport to LSU. I got to imagine the Uber's around half that price. So maybe Mike's livery service is like more upscale, but I'll be trying to pinch pennies. So anyway, this is the idea. If you can support it, would really appreciate it. And I do want to remind, this better not happen again. In 2015, I wanted to do a very similar thing at Oklahoma State. You might recall the car that crashed into the crowd there. And then Oklahoma State won the homecoming game after the car crashed into the parade, and it was connected to history with the school. And I wanted to go to that campus and educate about it. And I started a GoFundMe with the same thing, $2,000 to do a one-week thing. And by the time we'd raised over half the funds, GoFundMe froze the thing, refunded everybody, and then my Facebook got frozen, and I had to submit my photo ID to undo my Facebook because I'd promoted the GoFundMe on there. And also my YouTube account got strikes, so I was suspended for 2 weeks. They put 2 strikes on the account. It could all happen again, because again, they don't want this word to get out there. But it's kind of sad to think that was 2015. I mean, that was nearly 5 years ago, and then we still haven't pounded the pavement. So this is long overdue, and if you can support the cause, really appreciate it. So we'll leave it there, and until next time, Truth Seeker.